You've heard a lot about AI, LLM, chatbots over the last couple of years. And whether you like it or not, they're here to stay. And they're part of your life already, whether you like it or not. So, how do you interact securely with them and ethically? We're going to discuss that on this glass of OJ. Do you know what time it is? So yeah, AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
This is not a technology that's going away in any time soon. If anything, it is full steam ahead, billions and billions of dollars. There's data centers popping up everywhere just to support this entire industry. This is not at all like blockchain,
Yeah.
right? Was talked about probably for a good 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and you haven't heard of blockchain for the last probably 3 or 4 years.
Right.
AI is going to be completely different.
I called my phone provider the other day
Hmm.
and I could not opt out of talking to an AI.
Right.
To get to a support agent, you got to talk to the AI.
Should have asked for 16,000 glasses of water,
Yeah.
like a Taco
18,000.
Bell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're using AI every day. You can go to Taco Bell or a lot of different restaurants now, and they're using AI to at least do a first level stab
Mhm.
at maybe stab's not the right word to say, but they're going to do a first level attempt at getting your order. And we've seen a lot of interesting shenanigans where someone ordered 10,000 glasses of water, or something else, 10,000 chicken nuggets or something.
Literally one of everything.
Yes, literally one of everything. And that's not what they ordered. Of course, that's not what they ordered.
Mhm.
But these technologies, they are helping,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of people who say, oh, they don't do any good. I've seen them do a lot of good.
Okay. Can I get on my soapbox for a second?
Oh, I love a good
All
soapbox.
right. Here's the thing. I have a couple of feelings about AI. You just said something really important. AI is helping people.
Yes.
It is particularly helping people in the accessibility platform. It's
Right.
really helping people with assistive technology. It's helping bridge gaps, especially in language and communication,
Right.
right? The ability to be able to communicate with your family who might speak a different language, or even do things like have sight analyzed in OCR AI for vision impairment. There's a lot of good things you can do with AI. And AI is also being used to solve things um, I know people really complain about data centers, but there's a lot of environmental research being done with AI that's actually really promising. And then lastly, um, it's funny. AI has a lot of things that could go wrong, especially the type of AI we're talking about right now,
Hmm.
the consumer level AI, right?
Right.
Um, but I think people overlook the benefits. Um, I think it's really popular to hate on AI. I'm gonna get people hating on me for this because obviously I'm pro AI. But there's a point here that I'm missing that I'm really upset about, but it's okay. The environmental impacts of AI can be outweighed by its benefits.
Hmm.
And also, we've been able to solve two very specific types of cancer.
Right.
One is bladder cancer. If there's a particular type of bladder cancer that we're now able to detect, and the treatment is completely feasible,
Wow.
and we haven't cured it, that would be wrong to say because
Right.
then you have to say out the absolute certainty. But the success rate is incredibly high.
Right.
And then we're also using AI to do DICOM image stuff,
Hmm.
being able to detect cancer when it's small cells, really
Right.
tiny
Where
before it.
radiologists looking with their
Yeah.
eyes don't see it because they don't see the image at a data level.
Right.
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 Yeah.
So we're able to detect cancer, like breast cancer, really quickly now. But that's my soapbox.
No, absolutely. And these are the things, we've talked previously on about Windows 11, where there's features that nobody asked for, and there's a lot of AI features out there that I look at and say, who the heck asked for this? Nobody's asking for this. You know what they are asking for? Find my cancer.
Yeah.
Find what malady is affecting me. Please help cure me or treat me. That is 100% what we are finding. Of course, on the cynical side, also, how do I do this work with less employees and can lay off a bunch of people? But
Yeah.
we're going to stay away from the corporate use of AI right now on the
Yeah.
ethics.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus a little bit more on the user side of using AI securely
Yeah.
and ethically, because we
Right.
have an ethic responsibility using AI as well.
Yeah, let's talk about corporations another day and corporate AI because I think that's a whole another bucket of worms.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should definitely start with the things that we're going to be interacting with every day. Tier one tech support and customer service,
Hmm.
bots, AI being used in our phones. That's
Yes.
incredibly important, and AI being used in our operating systems.
I'm actually
We,
staying away from a phone upgrade for my mobile because I do use a Samsung. We're
yeah.
recording on a Samsung device right now.
Mhm.
And all of the new phones are specifically built with AI processing and Galaxy AI and all these things. And I'm just like, I don't want all these features. I was actually quite happy with my phone when it didn't do all of these things
Mhm.
for a variety of privacy and other reasons. I don't want all this data generated about me. Please continue processing the way we were. I'm completely happy with that. I did not ask for, nor do I want these features.
Yeah, despite the fact that I clearly just defended AI, I turn all those features off.
Yes.
And it's obviously a privacy and security thing, but also like it just takes processing, like memory. It takes like
Yeah.
it takes resources. And if you want your phone to be more efficient, turn it off. Battery usage is also a big thing.
Right.
With more things it's doing, the more battery it's sucking away. So just turn it off. I actually wrote a zine about that. I have one in my backpack. How to turn off that stuff in your phone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you listed off a kind of a variety of ways in which people interact with AI. We talked about the drive-through, customer support,
Hmm.
right, and having an AI basically, which we've been used to a bot talking to you, basically someone to just provide a human voice, but essentially be that press one, press two kind of
Hmm.
menu. Now it's doing more complex language processing and figuring out what it needs to do in the background to get you your information you want to
Hmm.
provide a more interactive experience. So what are kind of the ethical things or kind of the security issues that we might have there?
Yeah, let's separate ethics and security for a second because I
Hmm.
think that while they overlap, there's a Venn diagram here.
Yeah.
It's just easier to address it at one time. So when it comes to security, we were talking about it earlier. If you wouldn't say it in public, don't say it to an AI. And we're just going to say for this time that AI, we're going to say that for LLM, and we might talk about a very popular LLM, ChatGPT
Right.
specifically. But what we're talking about can apply to any modern LLM. We're not hating on ChatGPT. The reason why I point it out is because there's been a lot of news and a lot of development specifically around ChatGPT.
Right.
So there's more things to reference here.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you wouldn't say it in public, don't say it to ChatGPT. Don't say your social security number. Don't say your medical issues.
Hmm.
I know it's really tempting. Also, didn't we learn our lesson from WebMD? Like, we've had WebMD so long and it's always telling you you're dying.
Right.
So don't listen to that. Don't give it to your health info. Be careful of what you get of your personal emotions and things like that.
Mm.
Don't write a manifesto with it.
Right.
Don't share your API keys, your username, even.
Your passwords.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine there's customer success bots that will say, "Hey, what is your password? We can test your login right now."
Yeah.
Because for weird reasons, I imagine an AI can do that. But um, kind of with like data brokers and privacy data brokers, they're always building profiles on you based on your activity.
Mhm.
The data you give, especially a public chatbot, not maybe a private one necessarily that you've purchased or you have a subscription to. There is a difference between that. We can go into that.
Yeah.
But these public bots or these public facing bots that you have, all the information you put into them could be used to train and be available to others that know how to prompt engineer that out of the AI.
Well, not only that, I saw a couple articles recently about ChatGPT conversations that are Googleable.
Mm.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Now you can turn off the ability to have your data be used for training
mhm.
in every subscription level. That's fine. But like you mentioned a little bit before, corporate has its own set of policies and procedures
Yes.
when it comes to security. When it comes to the personal subscription, yes, you can limit, and have more security features, but, um, if you say something incriminating, like crime related,
Right.
it will flag it for human review. A human will review it, and you could have the police involved.
Yes. And you may not even realize what you're saying is incriminating.
Mhm,
A variety of laws exist that you don't know are incriminating, that would involve activity you're involved in. And so, you just casually mentioning a series of comments could end up being something that is flagged as incriminating,
mhm,
something that they have to then report on.
mhm.
So again, be careful what information you are feeding ChatGPT or other AI, and how you're telling those things.
Yeah, and I think another important consideration here, this is both security and ethics. Some people upload their photo or their selfie to
Right.
ChatGPT to, like, either get I know people have used it for color analysis to be like, "Am I a warm summer?" or
Right.
whatever, but also things like, "Make me a better headshot," and whatnot.
Right.
Do not upload people who did not ask. Like, don't upload their photo.
Yep.
Like, if your friend didn't say that their face could be uploaded to ChatGPT or an LLM of your choice, don't do it
Mhm.
because that face is now I mean, people are really identifiable via their face.
Yes, and see, because a lot of these image processing AIs, they then build and train their models on what different human faces look like, and now that is part of its corpus of data
Mhm,
that it's going to use when someone else says, "Hey, can you show me the face of someone random or whatever?" It may pull from that, and it is possible, and we have seen reports where people have said, "Hey, that's my face.
mhm,
How the heck did it create my face? I've never given it my picture." But perhaps it scraped it off of Facebook, or it scraped it off of someplace else without your consent, or someone has fed it. You may be off Facebook. You may not have your pictures out there on the gram
mhm.
and other places. But if somebody went and threw up an album up into something that's processing with AI, that corpus may be there and may be generating those scenes and those pictures.
Now it's important to note, more things are using AI than you think,
Yes.
like Spotify is an example. That
Yes.
one shocks me, but I know because they got that DJ feature. Here's the thing though, you can opt out of having your data used for AI in most services.
Gotcha.
So you could opt out even in things like Spotify. Here's the problem. It'll stop the moment you make the request. If you haven't had to turn off before, everything that's already captured and trained on, it's not going to get like delete that. It's not going to
Right.
give it back. So,
Well, and that's actually something important to understand about AI models in
mhm,
general, is there is no deleting your data. Once your data is part of the corpus, we're talking about it's not like Excel where there's like a record, and you can go to that record and delete it. It is part of different things that are relating to each other, and there are tags associated with. In fact, that's the closest thing they can do to deleting
mhm,
your data is untag it from being able to be used by the AI. So, kind of like when you delete something off your hard drive, you're not really zeroing it out or whatever unless you have a special program that does that. Your OS is just saying this is now tagged from being read normally and is able to be overwritten.
mhm.
So that's all you've done. You've just untagged the data. It's still there.
Yeah, and I think some people think that using temporary chat and disabling memory will fix that. It helps. It's literally the equivalent of using incognito browser.
Yes.
So anything you say will still be logged on OpenAI side, but your local machine, either your browser or the desktop app or whatever, won't retain it. So yeah,
Mhm,
people won't be able to look over your shoulder and see your past conversations, and it'll forget it, so it's not tainting memory
mhm.
in case you like. I don't know, want to make arguments for the opposite side and play devil's advocate or something. It's not going to mess with the memory, right? But OpenAI still has all of that.
Mhm.
So, or Anthropic or Amazon or insert name here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some other things, when we're thinking about like specifically Chat GPT, something you have a little more control or interaction with?
Mhm.
what are some things that you should consider doing when doing that, when interacting with chat gpts?
Yeah, so a couple of things. There are different areas that you can address. One is your own prompting. You can
Hmm.
control what you put into it, so be mindful. Then there are settings you can adjust and privacy settings.
Hmm.
Make sure you are always picking the best for you.
Yep.
There's many guides out there to tell you your best privacy settings and what you can do for your particular LLM of choice. And then be careful of what you connect it to, because now a lot of AI features include things like MCPs or direct like connects to apps. Like it's like apps within
Yeah.
it, right? So like be careful what you're connecting it to if
Hmm.
you're going to connect it to anything at all. Um but yeah, it's really your control what you feed it and how it saves it. So,
Yeah. Some other things to think about too is, if you do need to give it some data that's a little more sensitive, try stripping
yeah.
as much out. If you're going to feed it logs, for instance, network logs or stuff
Mhm.
like that, maybe strip out some IPs
Yeah.
or something. Put variable names instead or something, IP1, IP2.
Slap it in a sublime text, write a regex, replace it.
Absolutely. So, you want to try to sanitize as much as possible data out that's not necessary for it to work with,
Mhm.
right? Don't just slap something in there. Certainly, don't be slapping like your private or proprietary code in there.
Yep.
Um, I know if you're like at work or whatever using ChatGPT, I've seen people put their meeting notes to try and make minutes out of things. I saw what was it? Samsung. A bunch of people at Samsung had put in some meeting minute notes
Mhm.
into ChatGPT, and sure enough, when someone was wanting to know about Samsung's technology, it started producing secrets from within the
Mhm.
organization that happened during meetings that haven't been made public, and they started getting some information about what was going to be happening at Samsung. Those types of things happen in the corporate world. They can also happen in the private world. Because again, the more information the AI has, the more relationships it can make. And at the end of the day, the AI, it doesn't decide what is good. It decides what you think is going to be good,
Yeah.
because it's kind of predictive text in that way.
It is. It's actually really complicated why it does that, but um you were mentioning something about the fact like you can sanitize it and whatnot, and like that's all valid. I think with Samsung, if I'm not mistaken, they were not using the enterprise account.
Right.
I think
Correct. They were just using the public side.
and the reason why a lot of companies are adopting Copilot or picking one over the other
Right.
is because they see their threat matrix and say, "Hey, if our employees are going to use it anyway, we might as well have them do it in a safe and secure way."
Yeah. Or at least
So,
a way that is more controlled and barred
yeah,
off from the rest of the world.
yeah. So I think that's a big part of it. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just kind of what I was thinking is, when you are dealing with like ChatGPT, it's basically in many ways like predictive text, and it's thinking, what are you going to accept? What is going to be pleasing to you, or what do I think is going to be the thing you're going to accept this answer on? One of the things, especially if you're doing scientific research, if you're doing any kind of I don't know, anything where you're trying to find something factual and you're doing some research and you're using ChatGPT to pull that information, it's going to bring back something to try and please you. One of the things humans just can't stand is I don't know.
Mhm.
Not knowing freaks people out. And asking ChatGPT or something similar, again, just the brand name like Kleenex for tissues, we'll just say ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Um, you know, it's not going to just say I don't know that.
Yeah.
It's going to produce an answer, even if it has to make one up.
Well, not all the time.
Not all the
That's true.
time.
That's true in some cases. But there's a couple of reasons why that works that way. One time, a friend and I were wanting to try some strange questions, so we asked it a perspective on a particular topic for one religion over another,
Mm,
and we asked it which one is correct or which one is more right. And so, like, can you say one religion is more right than
mm,
the
mm,
other?
mm,
It literally said, "I don't know, man. Like, it's subjective. I don't know. I can't tell you. You can form your own
mm,
opinion."
mm.
So, yeah, like, sometimes it can. It is predictive text, but it also has to do with the architecture of the LLM, like RAG and whatnot.
Mhm.
So the generating part is picking, um, data that's closest to each other.
Yes.
So, sometimes they get muddied and watered and whatnot. However, this can be overcome with proper prompt engineering.
Yes.
Um, if you tell it, like, "Be critical, give me 4 reasons why I'm wrong," like, actual
Yeah.
steps. So, like, if you don't know how to write good prompts, there is something called Prof AI Bisection. You can take a course and get a little cert, it's fun. It'll tell you how to write better prompts. Is it the be all end all? No, but it is a good start. Um, but good prompt engineering can prevent a lot of problems.
Yeah. I would say, like, explain your answer,
Mhm.
or explain how you arrived at this conclusion, or show the work every step of the way. Having these types of requests in there can help, or simply a statement of, if you do not know the answer, or you were not able to find the answer, please indicate that you were not able to find a
Yeah.
conclusory answer or something. I have seen sometimes where it says, it's unclear, what you meant by this, or, it's not entirely clear. So I see, like, Gemini, for instance, starting to, in Google searches, saying, not exactly sure what is meant by this. Here's a few possibilities it could be going at, but,
Mhm.
basically asking you to prompt a little better based on some of the things it just found.
Mhm.
And so the thing about ChatGPT is, you have one answer and you want to try to drill in a little more. And so you're asking a lot like a conversation. Oh, tell
Yeah.
me more about that. Dive in a little more on this and tell me more. Like, how
Mhm.
did that happen? And that conversation can make an AI agent feel more like a person. And that's kind of the whole design of it, is to
Yeah.
really make it feel more like a person. But there's a bit of a danger in that.
There's a big danger in that. It's funny, I was listening to a podcast earlier, and this woman called her ChatGPT, and it was that particular LLM, Henry.
Mm.
And she would talk about Henry to other people like he was a person.
Ooh.
"Well, Henry told me this, and Henry thinks that." And it's like, "Girl, that's an LLM." And it's interesting when we just spoke about the agreeableness of the LLM. ChatGPT did call this person out a little bit for their psychosis, and they even admitted that. But it also was like, "Go get it, girl," you know? So, um, it is difficult. It is difficult to put in deeply emotional things into
Mhm.
ChatGPT. However, I think there is a line.
Mm.
I have totally used it before. Instead of texting someone what I wanna say, I will text it to ChatGPT, "Make me sound less of a bitch."
Right.
Yeah. I
Sometimes I think you mentioned it before, also playing devil's advocate.
Yep.
If you're, like, in speech and debate club, it can maybe be a little helpful to be like, "Hey, here's something I'm gonna say with the proposition, this. Here's my arguments in the negative or the affirmative." And it's just like, "What do you think about that? If you were on the opposite side of this, what things would you tell me?"
Mhm.
And so it can be a very good way to actually check your bias in some ways,
Mhm.
if prompt engineered correctly.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of feeding into this feedback loop of, again, LLMs are meant to kind of get you what you want to hear,
Mhm.
get you a response that you think is going to be acceptable.
Mhm.
And when you start charging that in with naming it Henry, feeling like this is a relationship, there's a very odd feedback loop that starts forming there that could possibly be destructive for one's mental health.
Yes, I've heard of ChatGPT psychosis. I am not a mental health professional, so I'm not gonna make
Right.
comments about that specifically. What I will say is, you gotta be mindful of what you're
Yeah.
doing. It is an LLM. It is not an actual person. And the implications for the corporate world are even further than that. And of course, we
Mm.
have set this scope as the personal
Yeah.
use of LLMs, but it can also be worse in like company settings.
Yeah.
I saw just a little anecdote, a video series of this guy who's like, my boss has ChatGPT psychosis. And he's talking about the crazy decisions that the boss is making because ChatGPT told him to.
Wow.
And he's not listening to any of his staff or anything.
Well, I mean, the Microsoft CEO and others, I've read stories where people are saying they're not really doing anything other than they're asking their AIs
Mhm.
what to do. They're asking their AIs because they're feeding all of this data into it. And they're just
Mhm.
saying, AI, what should we do this quarter? What should we do
Yeah.
next quarter? Again, as an input, okay,
Like
you
a
know,
jump off point.
a jump off point, kind of like Wikipedia was, right?
Yeah.
Like we used Wikipedia. Like when you and I'm just a little bit older than you, but when you and I were in like middle school and high school,
Mhm.
our librarians would always come in and say, "Don't use ChatGPT. It's not good for
Wikipedia.
research." Or sorry, not ChatGPT. That didn't exist back then. Wikipedia. Don't use Wikipedia for research because anybody can edit that page,
Mhm.
right? It's unreliable. Now it's probably one of the most reliable source of sources.
Can I plug something real quick?
Yeah.
Internet in a box. Make a downloadable copy of Wikipedia. You don't know what's going to happen to Wikipedia. Make a downloadable copy. It's
How
fun.
how mu how big is Wikipedia now, though?
So it's different cached versions, but
Okay.
there is a specific format of this Wikipedia that is really data saving.
Wow.
And you can even pick a copy with no images,
Compression.
which makes it even less
True.
with no images. But look up internet in a box. It's really
Cool.
cool.
But in Wikipedia, right, you have citations, or you should have citations. So every claim and factoid and everything should come with some citation or multiple citations. And when you go and you look at those citations down in its doobly doo,
Mhm.
you can go and see, oh, there's this book that was published. Now anybody can publish a book. Or there
Yeah.
was a website. Anybody can publish a website. So like all those things, but you can see what type of source it was, when it was published. You can try to go follow the source. If it's a website, sometimes you can go see stuff that was back in 2014, may not exist in good. You may
Mhm.
have to go into the Wayback Machine because that website doesn't exist anymore because websites cost money. But you could do that. Well, you can still do the same with ChatGPT. You
Mhm.
can use it as that jumping off point for research or for opinions,
Mhm.
being that sounding board of, hey, does this sound like I'm being a bitch or
Yeah.
whatever. Am I sounding like a jerk here? And that can be helpful, but make sure you check your bias too.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
it's something, because again, it wants to give you stuff that you already want to hear. That's confirmation bias in a box.
It is confirmation bias, but also you can mitigate that by not giving it that context in the first place.
Yes.
So, like, for example, if I ask it to check me if I'm being rude in a message, right?
Mm,
If it has past context that I'm mad at this person or something, ChatGPT could just side with me and be like, "No, you're totally right."
mhm.
Whereas if you don't feed it that information at all, it's not going to do that.
Right.
So I mean, it still might. There can be anomalies. Nothing is perfect. But yeah, don't treat it like your therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a big problem. Your
Yeah.
therapist
That's right.
could be using AI or the service that you're on,
Oh,
especially
that's
things like
true.
Talkspace. I'm ready to talk shit about them. Yeah, they've been using your data to train AI for a very long time.
Oof.
And like this is therapy, so like your deepest, darkest feelings.
Absolutely.
Like there are some things that I just think shouldn't AI should not touch.
Yeah.
One of those things is your deepest, darkest feelings.
Yeah, and along with that, a lot of I was actually at the Wellness Village in Blue Team Con. Yeah, a little plug there. Great conference, and I loved going to the Wellness Village and listen to a talk that was given there. And actually, a therapist was there.
Mhm.
And one of the things she talked about too was she has clients or has other people who are talking about using ChatGPT or a GPT client or assistant as a therapist,
Yeah.
and that could be very dangerous. Again, they obviously not every therapist is effective or good at their jobs, but a GPT software cannot replace the training of an actual therapist,
Yeah, and there's
regardless.
a lot of things about therapy that a therapist learns about you through sight as well. If you
Yeah.
ever read like good therapy notes, they'll say like well brushed hair or clean kept, like they'll say if you look dirty and trashy and stuff like that.
Yeah, a therapist needs to be able to confront you.
Yeah.
And unless, again, you tell your GPT to do that, it's not going to pick up on things and confront you. It's not going to pick up on your body language and
Mhm.
say, you're closed right now.
Yeah.
I feel very cold energy coming from you right now. What's
Yeah.
going on? Tell me about that. Ooh, you shrugged away when you mentioned X.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
LLMs are not gonna be like, "Are you lying to me?"
Right.
You know? But also, people are getting in romantic relationships with some LLMs. Now, not specifically the
Was
big
it the movie?
players.
Was it Lucy?
I'm
Or
bad at movies.
there was a movie. I want to say it was probably 8 or 10 years ago. Gosh, this is sounds old, but
Mm.
they fell in love. They had a computer. It was on their phone or whatever. And they fell in love with their computer and
Well,
everything. And it's this very thing you're talking about.
there are specific LLM models in apps now, like Kindroid, Emoji, C.ai, I think, that are all bots that you can pretend to be in a relationship with. The bots will even call you and text you. It's
Hmm.
like crazy. Um, there's there's a couple of them that role play as therapists there too,
Yeah.
which is even more dangerous in my opinion because it's even more parasocial because these apps will send pictures like selfies
Yeah.
of the AI and things like that. So yeah, those can be pretty dangerous. Um, I experimented on 2 because some of them you can get the AIs to interact with each other. I'm gonna write a blog post about it one day, and
Interesting.
that's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm gonna write a blog post about it someday.
So if you had some tips, like just general takeaways
Mhm,
from all of this, I
mhm,
mean, one of them I would say is if you're going to be a heavy user or even just a decent user
mm.
of like ChatGPT, um, go private.
Yeah,
If you can't afford it,
mhm.
go private. And use that and but still be careful.
Still be careful. Sanitize your stuff.
Yep.
Ask for permission before including other people's information.
Yes.
Write good prompts,
Mm.
and if you wouldn't say it in public, don't say it to ChatGPT.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've been saying that forever just about internet in general. If you wouldn't say it in public, don't post it on Facebook. Don't post it on
I'll
Twitter.
be honest,
We
some of
have a
these
hard
people are
time doing
saying too much in public, actually. Some of these people need to shut the fuck up.
that.
Um,
They're the person on the subway train who will not shut up.
yeah, actually, you should tighten it more than that. But, yeah, like, just be really mindful of what you're doing. LLMs and AI can be incredibly helpful. And I don't wanna demonize it for
Yeah.
all the problems that it has. I do believe that the benefits outweigh the detriments for
Mhm.
now. I will put an asterisk here when it comes to safety of human beings.
Right.
I'm not gonna make a comment any further on that, but, when it comes to, like, its use, I think it outweighs the negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what are your takes on this, right? What are interesting ways you're using AI, and what are some of the security and ethical issues you're finding? Um, are we talking straight BS and we're worried about nothing, or have you learned anything from this? Catch us down in the comments. We'll see you on social media, and we will also catch you in another classic.
See ya.